baby.
Yeah.
Miracle, miracle, serves. Miracle, miracle, serves. Miracle, miracle, serves. Miracle, miracle, serves.
We keep having all these problems. How we gonna solve them? Every day it's the same thing. Yeah. All these unsolved issues, I guess it's official. Here we go again, the same old thing. And I'm tired of the arguing and lying. So goodbye, all the hurt and crying. Things will change in you, so how can I expect something new? It's the same old thing.
Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is July the 14th, 2025, and today the topic is the broken spaces. Happy Monday. It's Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Mine was just fine. Yes, mine was good overall. Good morning to Miss Patsy Stone tuning in live. Greatly appreciate you. Yeah, man. I guess I won't get into my weekend or anything like that. Let's get into the juice and then we'll talk in the after show, if the Lord's will, right? So yeah, y'all, the broken spaces. Thank you, Miss Patsy. And yes, good morning to you. Yeah, so y'all, the broken spaces, where did this come from today? Well, I feel like over the past few days I've been hearing this concept of like being broken and you know, maybe God coming in and fixing the broken pieces and things of that nature. I listened to the prayer meditation this morning and all of that. I don't know if that went hand in hand with today's conversation, but yeah, I guess I just took time to just reflect on that today. Basically, I want to say after the prayer meditation, the broken places and broken spaces came into my heart and mind. So I was like, okay, is it places or spaces, you know? So I ended up doing what I do. I just plugged it into openbible.info, and I was seeing which set of verses resonated with me the most, and it ended up being the verses that was centered around broken spaces. So I went deeper about that, and I'm like, okay, Lord, the broken well, first I was just reflecting on broken spaces, and that's the phrase that I put into openbible.info. But as I was reflecting on it a little bit more, eventually the broken spaces came into my heart and mind as well. So that's where the title comes from. That's where this juice is coming from. And so let's get into it, right? The broken spaces. Now I know we all may have felt broken at some point in our life, right? Somebody might be feeling that right now. Maybe things didn't turn out the way you thought it would. Who knows, right? All of these examples of what broken spaces could be to you. Matter of fact, if you lie right now, tell me, man. Tell me, what does this mean to you when you hear broken spaces? Let me say good morning to Miss Angela as well. Look, OG, you know what I mean? Look, greatly appreciate you tuning in this morning. But yeah, broken spaces, y'all. The broken spaces. Again, if you want to chit chat with me live while I'm, I'm wondering, like, what does the broken spaces mean to you? It might be too much to share, and I get it. If your broken space and place is a little bit too much, but I'll keep going regardless of if y'all want to, chit chat with me about it. But as I was reflecting about the broken spaces today, I was reminded of that art, right? It's called kintsugi. I might not be saying it right. Kintsugi. And you guys may have heard of it before. Basically, I believe it's a Japanese art form where they take broken pieces, I think of like pottery, and weld it together with gold to make something new, right? I can't help but, again, think about the Lord, doing the same thing with us, right? Doing the same thing with our broken spaces and places. Matter of fact, Miss Patsy Stone is saying broken spaces equal trauma that has hurt. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, like I said, I mean, it could be, like she said, trauma. It could just be, again, just things not turning out the way you thought it would. There's a lot of things that can lead us into a broken space and place. But I hope we're encouraged and inspired today to know that the Lord is there in those spaces and places, right? And that maybe like Kintsugi, right? He wants to make it new, right? I took some time to reflect on my own stuff. I saw this morning, people use ChatGPT a lot, right? And I mean, I do too. I use it as well. I like to use it just to think, just to get my thoughts out and to like, think through things. I tend to talk through things with people. I do have a therapist now. I'm supposed to go to a therapy session today, actually, but I only got like 45 minutes to an hour with her every 2 weeks. So it's like, man, like how much can you really sort through, right? And then I got to shout out to my brother Kelvin, right? Because he's one of those people that will listen to me for hours and help me talk through things. My husband may not be as patient with talking through things the way my brother is. Obviously he listens to me and let me vent and whatnot as well. But sometimes when you're talking about the same type of things over and over again, or maybe if it's something like I don't know how to explain it, but there are just certain things that my brother will listen to me and help me talk through for hours that my husband, he'll do it to a certain extent, right? But anyway, regardless of that, but I do take a lot of time and just reflect on my own as well. So I got all these different places to, I guess, reflect on different things. But like I said, I took some time this morning with myself, and thinking about these things. But I came across this post today, and it was about ChatGPT, and they were talking about, I guess some people have asked ChatGPT, and I call ChatGPT chat, so, and I'm sure other people do that too, but whatever. My husband calls it ChatGPT, but whatever. Everybody has whatever they call that program or that AI or whatever the case may be, but apparently some people have asked, what are the saddest questions that you've received? And so I read through the list of what they said was ChatGPT's responses to that question, and so I couldn't help but wonder, what's the saddest thing that I've talked to ChatGPT about, and so I asked it, what X, Y, and Z, and he gave me my answer. I don't know if I feel led to share with y'all in this moment, but I'm just reflecting on those things, and again going deeper about this idea about the broken spaces. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just I don't know. Have you guys ever thought about that? Have you ever reflected on what are your broken spaces, right? What are those things that make you sad? Like, what are those things that weigh you down? Or I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about when I say broken spaces. Like, what is that for you? And I guess the question today is, do we believe that the Lord can heal those places, right? Do we believe that God can make those things new? I guess that's the question we all have to reflect on today. But let me go deeper and tell you guys, I guess, the journey that I went on. So when I looked up Kintsugi, it says golden joinery. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw it, I thought it was saying golden journey. But then when I started to write down, what I was seeing, I saw it said joinery. So I went a little bit deeper about that word joinery, and it says the craft or work of connecting pieces of wood or materials together to form a strong, unified structure. So look, that's a word all by itself, right? This idea of this art form. But again, thinking about us, right? Putting us in the place of the pottery and putting the Lord and his spirit in the place of the gold. Can you guys see the picture there? When it comes to, again, connecting the pieces, right? Those broken pieces, or whatever the materials may be. Of course, it's talking about wood and things like that, but connecting those broken pieces to form a strong, unified structure. I hope that already has helped somebody today, just to hear that part, and think about the art form, but put aside the pottery and put yourself there. Yeah, I hope that already encourages you. But I went a little bit deeper as well, because I was like, well, what is the biblical definition of this word joinery then? And there wasn't really any biblical definition. It wasn't really giving me anything in regards to like joinery itself, and connecting it to the Bible. But it did have me to go deeper about the word joining. So the biblical definition I felt led to write down about that is to attach or fit together as part of a larger purpose or structure. So we know that the Lord is doing that with all of us, right? Again, all of us play this part or play some part in this big picture, right? Or this tapestry or this puzzle or whatever you want to look at life as being. Again, we all have our parts and we all have our things. And we're on these journeys, I believe, to become who God created us to be. And so with all of that, obviously we're going to get into some Bible, but let me see, Miss Patsy is saying absolutely, so it seemed like this may be resonating, and I'm glad to hear that. But yeah, friends, God wants to take our broken spaces, right, and then join them in a way to make them new, for a larger purpose, right? For the greater good. Let me see what Miss Angela Knapp is saying to us right now. She says, I thought I was doing good fixing my broken pieces. I found out I wasn't, but I feel like I am on the right track now. Well, good. I am glad that you feel like you are on the right track. And I think where we often err, right, is we try to do it ourselves, man. Don't get me wrong, a good DIY project can be real good, right? You can go do some art, right? Go do a craft and you feel good about what you created, right? But really, I what I'm receiving here is that we need to be allowing the Lord, right, to fix those broken spaces, right? Allowing the Lord to handle those broken pieces, because only He can truly do the work. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, He made us at the end of the day. If you believe Bible, then this what we're believing, right? He's our creator, and so because of that, He knows all the things. And I believe that even these things that we feel are broken, right, it's still a part of the journey, right? The joinery, the getting us to that next level of who He created us to be. I know Miss Patsy Stone here is saying that it's not easy. Yes, and I would say both things that these ladies have presented today is not easy, right? Trying to do it ourselves isn't easy, and then even trusting the Lord to do it for us may not be that easy as well. But I see Miss Patsy Stone here saying we have to let God into the ugly and let Him clean it up. I agree. Matter of fact, yesterday the pastor was speaking, and I did get a chance to look 3 days in a row, 3 Sundays in a row. I was able to go to church, y'all. I know y'all like, well, you go every Sunday. I know, but see, I be in the kids ministry. I be in there teaching and pouring out. You know what I'm saying? So I hadn't been able to go as frequently this year. I was keeping count. But I guess I can stop keeping count now because I went a little regularly the past 3 Sundays. So prayerfully that keeps going, because as I pour out, I need to be poured into. Amen, right? But anyway, I know the pastor was talking at one point about obviously, again, reminding us that we should pray about everything. And he talked about that song. Oh my goodness, it just went away. The whole verse went away from my mind, but it says something that's a point about basically taking everything to God in prayer. That song, we sing that, right? But do we actually take everything to God in prayer? Like everything, like even this morning I was kind of struggling with that as well. I'm like, well, Lord, maybe I'd rather go back to sleep right now. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of quiet around. My son wasn't up at that time. And I'm like, I could go back to sleep and do the juice later. You know what I'm saying? Or I could do this or do that. But, again, I feel led to come on over here and do this. You know what I'm saying? I did feel like I received a little 911 at one point as well. I noticed that when it became 9/11. And so I felt like it was more important for me to lay down my personal idea, right, of me getting more rest or doing something else or whatever the case may be, to come and do the Lord's will, right, to be open to, again, me sharing about this conversation today that I hope will help somebody, whether it's now in today's times or maybe in the future times, if the Lord sees fit for YouTube to stay up and our channel to stay thriving and all these different type of things. But that's just one example of different things that I take to the Lord in prayer, right? And again, I'm trying my best to practice taking everything, right, to Him in prayer. Because He's there, right? He's involved and He wants to be. And sure, He knows all the things already, but there's something about us humbling ourselves and allowing Him, again, like we were talking about earlier, to do that work within us to, again, heal those broken spaces and to come in, right? And then make us new as well. Let me give you guys some Bible, because y'all could be like, Miracle, you just talking and everything like that. So let me give you guys the word. Now, Psalms 34:18. It says, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. I know when we are going through something, right, when we are in those dark places and those dark times, we don't necessarily feel like the Lord is there. Like, am I the only one that can say that here? You feel like you're alone, right? You feel like, man, God, where are you? We all know that poem about the footprints in the sand. But again, in those moments that you, again, feel like it's your roughest times in life, you're like, there's only one set of footprints, because from our perspective, we feel like we are alone. Now, obviously, that poem lets us know that it is Him that is carrying us through those dark times and things like that. But yeah, this is just something to think about, friends. Like, at the end of the day, it's telling us here that He is near the brokenhearted and He saves the crushed in spirit. So when you're in those times, I hope that it brings you some peace to know that He's there. And then even that poem can inspire you to know that, okay, He's carrying me through it. Matter of fact, yesterday I had a moment to look at this. I had this opportunity to speak, I think it was last year, for this conference that was called Pain to Purpose, and or Purpose in the Pain, something like that. And I looked at the video of the things that I was saying at that particular time. Yesterday I just took a moment to look at it, and I feel like everything I was saying was, it was relevant then and it's relevant today, and I was basically sharing about different things that I was going through at that particular time, and how God was using it for a purpose for me to even be speaking about it that day, and then for, I guess, whatever future as well. And again, like I said, I mean, we can be feeling like we are brokenhearted and crushed in spirit. But again, I hope just reminding you today that, again, He's right there, and then there's purpose to that, right? Matter of fact, again, a lot of times the stuff we go through, one, is not just for us, it's probably for someone else, right? And then two, it's also to sharpen us, right? It's to build up our character, build up our faith, different things of that nature. So again, like when we're going through the hard times and the difficult times that we already know is coming, then, hopefully this will bring you some peace in the midst of those storms. I don't know, I ain't got too much else to say about that, but we can go deeper about it in a second. But let me give you guys this next verse, and that's Psalm 147:3. It says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. So again, He's not leaving you there. And if you really, really think about it, everything you've been through in life, like every dark place that you've been in your life, you made it through. If you hear a brand new day, and if you're here, and if you're there now, right, if you feel like you're in that dark space, rock bottom, whatever you may feel, can you think back on a time that you felt this way before? Because if you do, and if you can, then you may know and understand that, what, God helped me through that, and He'll do it with this, and that can help you keep going as well. Again, like both of these verses are reiterating that He's not going to leave us alone in that place. And so I say, maybe this could be just something for us all to do as we go through things. Let's challenge ourselves to then start looking for the purpose in the pain, right? I told you guys earlier, what was it, last month? I was really going through some stuff, man. There was stuff like little spiritual warfare. I just put it like that, in different areas of my life. And at that point, yes, it didn't feel good to go through that stuff. It didn't, I'm sitting here like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, who wants to go through dark seasons, right? But at the same time, one thing I did start doing at that time was like, okay, where are the blessings? Something is trying to distract me right now. Let me focus on whatever, the Lord is doing. Like, I'm looking for, like, okay, Lord, you know, I know a blessing is around the corner. You know what I'm saying? I know something is on the way, because here comes some attacks. You know what I'm saying? And this ain't coming out of nowhere. There is purpose, right, to the pain. Matter of fact, I want to say that some of the things that I wrote at that particular time, you know, and even being inspired to like make the children's book that I got coming out, or going to be working on soon and stuff like that. Like, all these things were birthed from that painful place of a dark time, right? And so, and then even in the midst of that, even like by the time those things came out, because y'all know that I was scheduling written juices at that particular time in our community, and people were commenting on those things when they went live, that this blessed me, this helped me, things of that nature. If I had just stayed in my dark place, in dark space, and didn't look for the purpose in the pain, and just been like, ooh, you know, whatever, like, would there have been any fruit, right? Would there have been any encouragement for the next person? Probably not, right? And so these are the things to think about. Like, you know, again, I know we like to think about ourselves. I was making an observation about my son just the other day. I feel like he be looking in the mirror a lot these days. Maybe it's only just for this moment right here for me to tell y'all this testimony, that again, we focus a lot on ourselves, right? When at the end of the day, you know, again, there's other people in your circle of influence that you can help, right? That you can encourage, that you can inspire, by the way that you handle your dark time and your situation and stuff like that. And if you know that at the end of the day that it's the Lord that's helping you, then that can be, again, the encouragement for someone else. And I know people don't like to hear that, right? Because I can sit here and think about all the people that I've tried to pour into in my life, and I can sit here all day long and say, hey, you know, at the end of the day, I just started to trust the Lord more, and he just started opening up doors, and just tell your testimony all day long. And it's like people expect for it to be something else. Like, they expect for it to be more than that, right? They expect, again, like we were talking about earlier, the DIY, like, you had to have done something else. And then you're like, no, I just trusted the Lord. Like, that's what I did. And they're like, no, but then you do something else too. I'm like, yeah, I prayed, and, or, you know, I fasted, or I, whatever else that you did do, but majority of it was trust for the Lord, right? And they're like, oh, you know, maybe people don't want to receive that, again, because we think that there has to be more to it. But the Bible is telling us that, hey, God has done all the things, right? He's paid it all and things of that nature. And so sometimes it is that easy. Sometimes it's just laying down your idea and then saying, okay, Lord, I trust you. And going with that. That brings the contentment. That brings the peace. That brings the beautiful fruits of the Spirit and things of that nature. But all right, I think I said it. Let me keep going. So 1 Peter 5:10, it says, and after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. At the end of the day, man, again, that's a word all by itself, and it's definitely encouraging and inspiring to me. I hope that could be encouraging and inspiring to you as well. Like we talked about, he's not going to leave you in that dark place, right? And at the end of the day, he's going to, again, like, I mean, do I have to read it again, friends? You know, you might suffer for a little while, but, you know, he's going to cover you with grace, right? He's called you. He's going to give you eternal glory, restore you, confirm you, strengthen you, and establish you. I mean, that's the juice, friends. That is ultimately the juice today. I do have one more little quote to share with you guys, and I guess this could be like the final little reflection on this conversation. And it says, God enters the broken spaces not just to fix them, but to join them, fill them, and glorify himself through them. And that is the juice. That is the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is Romans 10:13. It says, for whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Friends, I hope you guys enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.